Oof.
Can I just say that I had to remove the temptation from replacing that phone with a dildo?
Oh,
Amazing. Amazing.
I
Um,
do it. Okay, real close.
well, Rachel Zegler's new movie has absolutely bombed. It's a movie, so it's important to note Rachel Zegler has been touted as one of the next big things in Hollywood, right? One of the next big stars in Hollywood. She's an insufferable bitch whenever she opens her mouth. No, it pains everyone around her. Everyone is dumber for listening to this woman. This film cost $15 million. She is a star, right? She is being sold as a star. She should have a following. People should know who she is. People should be watching her movies. And this movie only got $2.1 million domestic opening weekend. Whoa. That's appalling when you think of the likes of Terrifier 3 got over $18 million domestic opening weekend. Terrifier 3, no stars, nobody in that film. Nobody at all. It's a hardcore gore film, right? Of a clown, demon clown from hell, hacking bodies up, cutting people up, taking chainsaws to their faces and doing all manner of disgusting things. That got over $18 million opening weekend. This movie, which Disney has invested her next movie, the realm of like $300 million into it, couldn't even get 2.1 million. This is a disaster for Disney's film. There is no film that this woman has opened that has been successful aside from the Hunger Games, and even then only technically because they spent barely anything on it. And
actually it didn't make money, and if it did, it was about $8 million.
Yeah. Worst earning in the franchise.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
There you go. I mean, well, Chris, this is your article, so over to you.
I'm with you. She's insufferable every time she opens her mouth, which is why we used that screenshot from the trailer, obviously, because she's opening her mouth, looking like a blow-up doll. 2.1 million on a $15 million budget. This movie, actually, they'll never make their money back on this. I honestly think there's the Hollywood press is sort of using this as their excuse to start throwing Rachel under the bus, right? They're going to blame the failure of this movie on her, which I'm happy to as well, because if she was a draw, they would have put more butts in seats in the cinemas this past weekend. But now even the movie's getting just terrible reviews, unrelated to anything that Zegler's doing. So the movie's got no legs. It's going to probably be on VOD in about 3 weeks, or whatever the minimum is on their contract. And this movie, this the whole premise. I think it would have been interesting maybe in the 90s to do, but it's sort of like the worst case, demons unleashed at the moment the midnight strikes, or the clock strikes midnight on New Year's Eve, 1999, about the big Y2K fear that was going on. But the audiences and the critics are unified. This movie's got a 45% tomato rating and a 51% popcorn. I think it's called the popcorn meter now. That's the new audience score. And Rachel has proven that she this was a test of her star power, and it has been found wanting. I think Disney is probably the most concerned studio out there right now, because they're banking on her for this Snow White movie, and every time she opens her mouth, I think a few more tickets are lost for Snow White. So this is not going to bode well for Disney for sure. This is a cautionary tale, as a matter of fact, I think, for actresses who can't resist the urge to give a hot take on every little thing and every little gripe that they have. That's Rachel Zegler, the new it girl.
Can I ask? Do we know what exactly then is the? I don't know if I'm even asking. Do I even really care? What is the actual plot then? What actually happened? Because we all know, spoiler alert, nothing really happened on Y2K, right?
Right.
So what is the story? I mean,
Well, this
Was it-
supposes that something did happen, right?
oh right. So it's okay. Oh, sorry, I get it. I see.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's why I think it would have been better if they had done something like this in the 90s, leading up to Y2K. Maybe the summer of 98 or 99, they should have put this out. But
Yeah, Iron Wolf in the chat says you're 20 years too late, 24 years too late. Yeah.
yeah.
No one cares now. Yeah.
Well, it's a comedy too. So, I mean, it starts out with sort of comedy, but what I'm hearing is the third act, the crucial act is where this thing goes sideways and just loses. Even the critics who you think would have liked Rachel Zegler don't like the movie. So not good. I think it came in 8th or 9th place this weekend.
It was ninth, if I remember
I think it
rightly.
was 9th. Yeah, I think it was 9th. Yeah.
That's so bad.
It was so bad. I mean, and you just consider this. She is literally poison.
Mm-hmm.
She could not beat a re-release of 2017's Interstellar on 185 screens.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's the other funny thing. Yeah, they re-released Interstellar, and Interstellar beat this new movie this weekend.
On 185 screens.
That's crazy.
I'd actually quite like to see. I'm not surprised. I'd like to see Interstellar on the big screen. I missed it on the big screen.
Likewise. Yeah,
and
likewise.
It's one of those ones you watching it on TV, going, "Oh, I wish I had gone to the cinema for this one." Right? Yeah, it's difficult. I honestly think Ziegler's not the only one. There's a few people out there, aren't there? It's difficult to be that unlikable, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how do you do it? Almost.
It's a bit of a
You
skill.
see people tweet things and like they get 500,000 views and 300 likes and 2,000 comments, 99% of which are all caning them. Like how are you this unlikable? That's
Blissful
talent in and
ignorance.
of itself.
Well, she's been elevated. Steven Spielberg
Yeah.
plucked her for
Yeah.
this West Side Story musical, which they were so proud of the fact that they were going to perform it in not English and without subtitles because that's the virtuous thing to do. So she started off on the wrong foot and then got put in the Shazam sequel as sort of a bit player.
She played a pedo in Shazam.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, she's a pedophile in Shazam.
We didn't explore that angle yet, Nate.
She was like a 900-year-old god, and she was copping it off of like a kid. So
Yeah,
she was a
she's a freak show. I mean,
Well,
in that film.
I think that's really the problem is that she's. I keep calling her one of these theater kids. It's overacting, and you can see it when she's giving these interviews. But I think just trashing Snow White and people with Disney, it just kind of put everybody off on her. Otherwise, if she was a draw, they would have at least maybe done 9 million at the box office or 15 million, at least made their budget back on this. It's a horror movie. It's not unusual for a horror comedy.
Horror comedy as well.
Yeah,
Like, they do
right.
okay.
To make some money at the box office, but this is abysmal. $2 million. My God.
It sounds like it's failed as hard as a film can fail. Right? And those numbers to me sound like it's the actual bottom of the barrel. Like that's effectively like no one, obviously not no one, $2 million is $2 million, but still sort of in the scheme of things, no one went to see it, right? Sort of.
Yeah.
So it's like, ugh.
I'd be curious to know what Rachel's paycheck was. And knowing that if it was more than $2 million for her to do it, I think that's going to change the game with her agent. That's probably an agent that's not going to do a whole lot of gatekeeping in Hollywood after this movie.
I don't think it would be, because if you think about Sydney Sweeney's paychecks,
No, I don't either. I just
I can't
to me
imagine.
it would be humorous to know how much she got paid.
Yeah, 100%.
But I
think it-
remember seeing this trailer, I don't know, 6 months ago, and it just seemed, silly.
It was just shit. It was just the thing is, her fans aren't the age of the people that even know what Y2K is.
No.
Like they like. I made a video on this. People are like, "What's Y2K?" I'm like,
Yeah. Remember?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You're just not going to know. Like, you weren't around.
Yep.
Like, you
Right,
wouldn't have
well-
known the weird fear that everyone had, the insane,
That's where I learned how to prep. Because everybody
actually, that
thought,
too.
all these
Yeah.
computer programs are only using 2 digits for their year.
Yeah.
So all the banking systems and every electronic system is going to completely crash, and all this money was spent on
No.
programmers trying to fix it.
Yeah, that's true.
The
I was part of that.
aeroplanes are going to fall out of the sky.
That's
I distinctly remember that one.
That's not
That's
how that
right.
works.
At the stroke
Yeah.
of midnight, all jumbo jets just fall out of the sky.
Yeah, but guys, what's the first thing you do when you're getting ready to make a film or you have a story idea? Don't you ask yourself a question?
Who's going to watch this?
Who's
It's
this for?
Yeah, who's it for?
Yeah. So who was gonna go watch this movie? Nobody.
The feedback I'm hearing is that it's really just an SNL skit that goes on way too long. It would have been an amusing 5-8 minute bit, and that's where they should have left it.
I think it'd been charitable. It would have been amusing for 8 minutes. Fucking hell, mate. Come on.
But the saddest thing is, if you want to know what Rachel's salary was, ask yourself what they paid Fred Durst and Alicia Silverstone.
Oh, that's right.
Because if she earned like $800,000, what did they give Durst? Here's $25,000 and a bucket of chicken.
Well, and they had to license the music too, right? I mean, you got Tub Thumper and everything else in this.
Yeah,
That's
well, I
true.
can't imagine that's terribly expensive.
Well,
We got some super chats about this. So Simon Ho says, "My name is Earl. Made a better Y2K story in 22 minutes." My name is Earl was good. I remember that.
yeah,
That was pretty decent.
I would not doubt that.
I don't remember the Y2K episode though. Not gonna lie. Kitty Bear said Rachel Z can make a prawn parody movie flop.
Maybe so.
Even anyone that wants to see that still doesn't bother. Still don't bother.
I saw a fully safe kind of adult clip today on Twitter that more people will watch. It's a nurse flashing a patient. You don't see anything because the camera's behind.
Brilliant.
Like a Benny
Yeah.
Hill.
Yeah, and I'm like going, this is more engaging than this film was for people.
Oh, man.
Yeah, tweets get more views in this movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Justin Aliotti says, bad enough that the movie's bad financially. It's also bad because people don't like it and she's in it. I feel sorry for A24 and congrats on 400,000.
Oh, thank you, Justin. Oh, wait. I don't have 400,000 yet.
You don't have 400,000 subscribers, mate. I do. So
Well, why don't you help me out then? Great.
you're here. You are being helped out. What?
Uh,
I tell
no,
people
I'm
to
not-
subscribe to you. No.
I'm helping you out. So yeah.
Shall we get into the nitty gritty of producing again, shall we? What topics we got? Oh, I just find everything. I do everything for the show.
Hey, I named the show today.
I do everything. You make some stingers. Yeah, you do some good stuff. You do.
I named the show today. I was the namer.
Yeah. Blackadder, not I, says that screenshot looks like if Zegler and that kid from Deadpool 2 had a child, they might balance out with a being with eyes at a normal distance apart.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Bless her heart.
Breed some more dysgenic freaks, to be honest. But yeah,
Hey, Bo just loves him some hypertelorism.
Yeah.
this is true.
I'm just a big fan of ocular hypertelorism. Her eyes aren't far enough apart, if anything.
There you go.
No,
That's
Full
more
Sid.
like it.
Of course, I'm joking.
Needs to go full Sid.
Why does it say photo room on the screen?
Oh, I don't know. It was just a PNG I found. Well, I didn't plan on like continually using it, but I find it so funny, so I've just left it. But I'll have to find another one.
It's very
I can-
rustic. I like that.
Yeah,
like a
and
chameleon.
And that's just the right amount of photorealism you want in your live action, quote unquote, movies that are coming out. Did you see the Nightmare Fuel?
Zegler in live action Ice Age, couldn't we then?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. They wouldn't even have to cast an animal or do any animation. Just put her on the screen. She'd be
Rachel Sidgler.
You guys. You guys.
Right. We've got another super chat here from Olaf, our great mod, in the chat. Says
Wow.
Zegler won People's Award for Best Action Star of 2024. I remember that.
That's right.
She won Best Action Star.
And gave a great quote that she just loves movies because she just loves movies. You know, she just loves movies. That was her acceptance speech, I think, that day.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Olaf says, wonder how much those judges were paid. There most certainly were better ones like Keanu Reeves, Tom Cruise, to name a few.
Yeah, of course.
Fuck it. I couldn't believe that when that happened. But yeah, you guys are completely right. We'll move on from that now. Good times. So here's something funny, I guess.